Hello and welcome back to Reactor Reactions. My name is LR Reactor, and it's so good to be with you guys again. I've been out for a while, as I've said many times before. Some of you guys know I have a full-time job. I sometimes have to travel for work, so sometimes videos are a week apart, sometimes months apart. But I always love doing them. Always love coming back to those who watch my channel and enjoy my insight, and I enjoy your insight too. Please hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, and even the comments section below. I love to read your comments. Talk about the things you guys want to talk about, and also give my commentary on what I believe is happening in Marvel, DC, Sony, Fox deal, movie news all together. I'm just happy to be back again. So let's get started. Last time I left, I was gone. Avengers: Infinity War was opening, and there's nothing more to be said about that. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait for part four, Avengers 4 next year. See what it's going to be called and where they're going to take it. Marvel, once again, fantastic job. And the model standard of how to run the cinematic universe. But we'll get into a little bit more about Marvel Cinematic Universe and why it affects so many other universes out there and other companies who are trying to develop universes. So let's go into a couple of things that have been happening lately today within the last week or so. So first picks of Aquaman, Entertainment Weekly, and online you can see Aquaman. They show pictures of Ocean Master, who looks fantastic. Not with his helmet on, but even without his helmet, he looks great. Early concepts picture of Black Manta. A lot of people thought the Black Manta helmet was the one that's going to be used. That was, apparently, I understand by some reading some articles online, that is not the finished version. It's more of a prototype that they were working on. So I think it's going to look a lot better when we see it in person. But the fact they even go into the full extent they are to make it look like that with the big red eyes, I love that. So Aquaman looks fantastic, and I suspect Aquaman will be a very good movie. James Wan has my confidence. He's going to take us in a whole nother world, where you can almost see this not even being part of the DCEU or DCFU or whatever you want to call it. Even though it will be, it's going to be in a set its own world. So you can look for Aquaman to be in the similar to what Wonder Woman was, and even closer to what Black Panther was. Like, we went into the world of Wakanda. They didn't really have anything to do with the outside world, just Wakanda only. I think we're going to see that in Aquaman. We're basically going to be in the world of the seven seas, the oceans of the world, where we've only explored 10% of the oceans in the world. So who knows what's down there, how deep they go, and what's the world down there. So we're going to see all that with all the creatures and things. I think it's going to be fantastic. Sadly enough, though, I don't know if that's going to help DC overall, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and get your comments on that below in the comments section when we go there. I really want to see what you guys think about certain things. We also have seen the first picks. We saw Shazam, his outfit. I think the finished outfit, once they got the CG done, looks pretty good. I think Shazam's gonna be a lot of fun. They can. I think DC with Hamada, the new guy. I think personally he probably wanted to reboot this whole thing, but the management did not want to do it, and I don't blame them. I love Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman. I love the person. I forget his name. Playing Superman. I forgot his name. Just blew my mind. Playing Superman. Batman is up in there. They're gonna pick somebody else in there, obviously, which is fine. But I love Ezra Miller as Flash. I can love him or leave him. That's fine. They want to leave him there. Hopefully, it'll change his tone a little bit. Cyborg is fine. The actor plays Cyborg, and top of that, Lex Luthor, I wish they could change out, and the Joker, which we'll talk about, Leto's Joker, I wish they could change him out too, but we'll get into that a little later about some Joker talk. But I really feel like this is their soft reboot. I think they're restarting Aquaman, Shazam, and then they need to follow up with Man of Steel and Batman. That's what they need to do. Obviously, going to have Wonder Woman be the lead, obviously. Her second movie's coming out. But then we need to get Man of Steel and Batman in next. If we're really going to start this whole thing over in a soft reboot in a way of rebooting the story, not rebooting the character, which I'm perfectly fine with. I have no problem with that. I am a DC fan and a Marvel fan. I just want to see great movies. I've read these books for over 30 years, and I absolutely love what I'm seeing with Marvel, and I think DC can get there, but there is some obstacles, and Marvel makes it difficult. We'll talk about that a little later. Also, Wonder Woman 84, that's the official title apparently. We already know Cheetah's going to be the villain, and it's called Magic Hour. Or, well, either Magic Hour is the name of the. I don't know if it's going to be called Wonder Woman Magic Hour or Wonder Woman 84, but I think that's indicating that Cersei's will be in this movie as well, which I think is appropriate. I think it's appropriate to have Cersei's in this because that way you can explain how, you know, uh, a sorceress gave the powers of a cheetah or an animal like that to a regular human, I suppose, a regular human, and made her powerful enough to fight Wonder Woman. So you had to have that catalyst. Originally, I thought that one of the Amazons on the planet, on the Paradise Island, was going to be just jealous of Diana and forge a bond with Hades, or if there's any Hades around anymore. But I think all the old gods are dead. But either form a bond with Cersei's, and she gives her cheetah powers. She's already an Amazon, has power as it is, but give her cheetah's powers and then go after Diana. But maybe they're going a different route, which is fine. But as long as there are Cersei's in there, who power is magic, but known for changing people into animals, it makes sense. And I think that's good. I think I like the way they're going there. Now the big elephant in the room is Chris Pine. We've seen Chris Pine on set, pictures of him with a fanny pack on set. So a lot of people have different opinions about what that is. Is it a flashback? Maybe. Is it something that she's hallucinating? Maybe. But then again, why would he be in 80s garb if she's hallucinating him? She would just see him in his regular World War One timeline outfit. So is it a descendant? Possibly. And then the thing that's going around the internet is, did he ever die? And is Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, actually a Green Lantern? Yes, I could see, they could play liberties with this, and I could see this happening two different ways. So they could say that he was, flying up there, the ship got destroyed, and he was saved by a power ring or by a Green Lantern looking for someone to take over the ring bearer for this planet, possibly. They could say that. Or they could say, he was rescued by a Green Lantern and taken away to Oa, and then now they brought him back. They could say that. Could they make him Green Lantern himself? I find, I don't know how they would do that, because Hal Jordan, as we all know, was the first Green Lantern, not Steve Trevor. So, could they make him a lantern? Could they make him like a lantern? He's working another sector of space. I guess he is a pilot, but I think that would be dumb. And I just don't see how you could make him Green Lantern unless you're going to change his name to Hal Jordan, which doesn't make sense because, well, you've been alive. How, is he immortal now or what? So I think he's in the movie. I think he's going to be Steve Trevor, but I don't think he's going to be a Green Lantern. It'd be a nice twist. I think it'd be cool because this is what I've been dying for. I've been asking for things like this to take place in DC cameos. Introduce other heroes inside another hero's movie. So introducing Green Lantern or the concept of Green Lantern Corps would be cool, but you can't have Chris Pine be Green Lantern because we all know that's Hal Jordan. So that can't work. But there are other heroes he could be. They could say he was saved by the Helmet of Fate, and he's been Dr. Fate all this time. The new Dr. Fate. They could say that because Dr. Fate, the Helmet of Naboo, takes different hosts. They could explain it that way. And because this is dealing with magic, Dr. Fate would be a perfect person to have a cameo in here. I've been saying that since the first Wonder Woman movie. They should have had Dr. Fate cameo or show his castle in the background of the war scene or something. But that's something they definitely could do. He could be the new Dr. Fate, and they could do it that way. But we know, because unless they're going to retcon, meaning they're going to take the Sony X-Men route, saying continuity, who cares? We don't care if it's continuity. We're just going to tell whatever story we want. So if they want to retcon it that way and say, okay, well, he is here. He's alive. He survived. But he was under some, he was saved by some sorcerer or something. They can do whatever they want and forget the past. But the problem is that we know Steve Trevor died because in Justice League, she mentioned, she used to be with him and stuff, and that's what Batman ticked her off, making a comment. So he's not alive during Justice League time. So what happens to him if he's appearing in Wonder Woman 84? Does he die again if he's real? Because otherwise, how would he live on? He'd be an old man right now. I don't know, but they could do it that way. I guess they could have him as an old man, but because of Justice League, it's almost like he was dead. That was her opinion. He was dead. So Justice League's kind of screwed things up. But like I said, I think DC, and it'll be tough, but they're just trying to forget about Justice League. Forget about the whole continuity to say it never happened and restart it over again. And that would be wise of them. But, if you're going to do that, we want to see, as fans, we want to see a complete reboot if you're going to do that way. But if they do it this way where we're going to pretend Justice League didn't happen, wait 6 years, and then redo a Justice League all over again, that's fine. But you got to go into the whole... now you got to explain, did Steppenwolf ever arrive? Did it ever happen? Did Superman ever die? See, it's a mess. It's a mess trying to fix it all, but that's what DC has put themselves into. So let me know what you think about Steve Trevor. Who do you think he is? Is he just a memory? Is he just a flashback? What do he obviously not a flashback. He's wearing 80s stuff. Is he some kind of spell that's been put on Wonder Woman to believe that a man she's seeing is Steve? Who knows? But we'll see what happens. It's too bad they didn't have the Winter Soldier program in DC. They could have put him on ice and say, oh, here he is. He's 100 years later and he's alive. That's not going to happen. Let's go into a couple other things. So it's been announced that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be the Joker in the Martin Scorsese standalone Joker movie. Now, let me say this right from the beginning. I have no interest in this Joker movie. I don't want to see the origin of Joker. I know enough about the Joker. I just want to see a good Joker. And this movie will confuse fans. People say, oh, fans will get it. Here's the problem. Before you can do Elseworlds movies, like an Elseworld Joker movie, Elseworld Batman movie, you must first establish your universe and your characters. DC has not done that. And again, we got Aquaman, Shazam, and now we're going to a Joker movie, a standalone one that won't even connect to the universe, to the main universe. Now, I get it. You get it. We're fans of superhero movies and movies themselves. But the general audience, they're like, well, wait a minute, what happened to Jared Leto? And why is the Joker here? And where's Batman? It makes no sense. And see, people say, well, that's okay, they'll get it. But here's the problem. And we'll get into this a little bit. Next topic, we'll get into this whole thing. But I'll explain the problem is the fact that you have the general audience is what puts movies over the top, which makes a $500 million movie into $1 billion movie, the general audience. And if you don't have them on board, or if you don't have them confident in what you're putting out there, then the movie is never going to make that much. And if DC's happy making movies $500 million, $600 million, that's fine. Do what you're doing. But if you want that $1 billion movie like Marvel, those $800,000 movies, those $170 million, $150 million, $130 million openings, then you have to fix that. But we'll get into that in just a minute. I'm anxious to get into it. I'm getting off topic, but I want to go back into the Joker movie. So you have Leto and you got Joaquin Phoenix. So is Leto out, Joaquin Phoenix in, but Leto was just maybe the cinematic universe Joker, and Joaquin Phoenix is standalone. And this is what's upsetting is with the new management of DC, Ramada, that he would greenlight this. He has to understand, listen, nobody's calling for a Joker movie, just like nobody was calling for a Han Solo movie. And then you're telling a story of the Joker before Batman. Get the main heroes out, DC. Again, you take two steps forward and one back again. Shazam, Aquaman, great steps forward. Oh, Joker standalone movie, one step back. And you never really go anywhere. And I think it's such a mistake to do the standalone Joker movie. I really do. But, the actor, don't get me wrong, Joaquin Phoenix looks like the Joker. I think he'll play a fantastic Joker. But that's the problem. Maybe he plays him too well. Now nobody wants to see Leto anymore. Now you got to take Joaquin, bring him over to the DCU. But he doesn't want to sign a multi-film deal. That's why he's doing a standalone. Because he was up for Doctor Strange in Marvel. And he said no. So that's the problem. Now, let's go into this whole subject about Marvel and DC and why it is so difficult for DC to ever succeed. Now, DC in these individual movies, I don't know. I think Aquaman's gonna be fantastic. I'm delighted to see Shazam. Don't know how good it's gonna be, but Shazam is something a comic book figure that I follow for years. Love the character, cartoons, everything. Here's the problem: if that's what DC wants to do and don't want to really make a cinematic universe, then they'll be fine. But your movies will do 400, 300, 500, maybe $1 million, maybe six, 700, maybe even 800 million, like Wonder Woman, and that's it. You might not even get the 800 million. You might only be five, three, whatever, because people, and this is where Marvel has changed the rules and changed the game. People want a cinematic universe. Marvel did it fantastic. And people want to see that. They want to see how all these movies connect. And not only do the people want to see it, but Marvel makes every movie they have relevant because of it. Right now, Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out. Okay? It will make more money than the first Ant-Man. Why? Well, mainly because it's a continuation story and it has something to do with Avengers 4. It's going to have some tie-in to the technology they're going to use to reclaim the Infinity Stones or go back in time or whatever. So, as a fan of Infinity War, if you saw it, hey, I gotta watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I gotta see how this connects. Do they snap? Do they disappear at the end or whatever? Because you know this takes place before the events of Infinity War. So now you're invested to see what clues are going to lead you to Avengers 4. What clues will kind of give you an idea how Avengers 4 might start to form out in their plan. So now you're going to bring more people into Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not that it wouldn't get people anyway, but more because they want to see how it ties in. All these movies connect, and they've done a fantastic job. DC, for some reason, doesn't really understand that. They did a horrible job from the beginning. Maybe they should have let Zack Snyder finish his 5 movies that he wanted to do and see what happens. But again, I don't blame Zack. I blame DC because you know what kind of director Zack Snyder is. He's a great director, but he does dark movies, dark palettes. And he was never the right one, even though I love Man of Steel. I loved it. To do Superman, to do a universe if you wanted more bright. You got the wrong guy. Okay? Wrong guy. So, if you're going to hire him, let him finish the story. But the point is now we have a Justice League movie that DC don't even want to connect to anymore. Batman v Superman, DC don't want to connect to anymore. And now you got to build a universe from the scraps around it and try to say, oh, well, this didn't happen and that didn't happen. You already blew your wad on these mother boxes, which, never were used right. They were not. That's not what they were. They were teleportation devices to create boom tubes. Now they're destroyed apparently. So how people boom tube around if you ever do Dark Side in the future, you ever do you're doing the New Gods. You're doing the New Gods. Okay. I mean, I guess you can get away with that, but I would love to see a Superman 2. I mean, a Batman before the New Gods. They're just jumping ahead, trying to get ahead. Oh, we got to get our cosmic universe. We got to look at Guardians of the Galaxy. We got to get out to the guys, get your foundation. And I just still see it's going to be a major problem if they do these standalone films. That's fine. They're doing a standalone Joker, standalone Batman with Matt Reeves. Okay. But how does, people want to see it connect. Now, Batman may survive on its own, but we don't need an origin story again. We know how that goes. Started off like, Spider-Man Homecoming does. He's Batman. They continue from there, but they still confusing about what villain they want to do. It's just a jumbled mess. And I'm a DC fan. It's upsetting because when you watch, as a DC fan, and a Marvel fan, don't get me wrong, when I watch Infinity War and I see 10 years of movies come together as beautifully as did, and the villain Thanos is fantastically done, and the quest and the struggle and how it ends, it was so satisfying. And still waiting for more to come. You sit back. You say, if Marvel could switch places with DC, if DC was in Marvel's position, and they had told each story of Superman movie, Batman movie, Aquaman movie, Wonder Woman movie, Flash movie, Cyborg, then the second round, Superman 2, whatever, Flash 2, whatever you want to do, then the third movie, and all of it intertwined in there, something to do with the New Gods, something to do with Dark Side, a pending threat coming. He's trying to find the anti-life equation, and he's looking to take over Earth. Something combining them all together, and then finish it off with an Infinity War kind of story with Darkseid and all his minions and his soldiers against the Justice League, and how at the end, instead of hey, the stones will snap, they could do it like the comic books or like the cartoon. At the end, Superman is brainwashed and works for Darkseid, and he's part of his army. Whatever they could do. They could have, because DC has the character to tell such beautiful stories like that and to interweave it like that. But that's what's so frustrating. You're like, wow, they got better characters and they could do this really good. You know how I know this? Because I've seen the cartoons they put out, the DVDs. I mean, heck, I always said in my previous video, like months ago, I said, DC, you don't have to follow Marvel way necessarily. You could do it the back way, but if you're going to do it the back way, you got to do it just like your animation did it, where none of the heroes know each other and they just meet, randomly and fight Darkseid, and they meet that way. And you could get away with it because my grandmother, when she was alive, knew who Wonder Woman was. My grandmother knew who Superman was. My grandmother knew who Batman was. Maybe not Cyborg, maybe not the Flash, but they can be told, meaning that your characters are a century almost old, 80 years plus old, and people know who they are. So you don't have to tell the story Marvel had to tell about Iron Man, Thor, people like that. People who knew who the Hulk was and Spider-Man, but you had to tell a story of some of these other heroes, Black Widow, Hawkeye, where you didn't have to tell that with DC. You could have started off like that and then told the individual stories. But that's where the mistake was made. And I firmly believe they should have let whoever runs DC animation help with the movies because they can tell the right stories. Justice League, Throne of Atlantis looks fantastic. Now they're about to do the Death of Superman. That one over, and that looks great. Just follow the storyline. But now we already had the Death of Superman. We already had Doomsday. Opportunities have been ruined. That's the only reason I want to reboot, because they can reset it and tell the stories the right way in the right order. Now they can't. They can't reset it. Doomsday is never going to come back again. He's done. They already done the mother boxes. They're still going to do Darkseid, but they kind of screwed that up, so to speak. So it is what it is. And we already have, Superman turning, brainwashed or not turning evil. They can't run that track back again. So Henry Cavill, that's the guy, by the way, for Superman. Henry Cavill, for all those, I got it. Back of my head, I couldn't remember. So because Marvel has been so successful with what they did, DC, I don't think, can ever really hit the pinnacle. They can compete, be in the middle row, but they never can reach the top because they can't. People want the cinematic universe. It's like Netflix has taught us to binge stuff. We want binging now. We do. We prefer it. They've changed the game. And because of that people are going to want it. And I think the casual fan will never come back to DC and trust it. Me and you are going to watch, and we hope for them to be good, but the casual fan will never trust DC again, I'm afraid, unless they change it. Unless they go a different route, which I don't think they're going to do. So another thing that happened, so we saw that Comcast came back with a big deal, $65 million, I think, dollars in cash to buy Fox assets. Now, people don't understand that they want Fox for many other reasons besides Fantastic Four and X-Men. I mean, the telecommunication part of it, the news part of it, it's a bigger deal. But having that portion, they definitely want to be able to make movies, and that's their movie in. And I'm okay if Comcast go ahead and gets this done. I will, don't get me wrong. Marvel will be great to get this, but unfortunately, here's my problem. Some of the stories they told involved X-Men and Fantastic Four that I'll never be able to see. Like the Infinity War included X-Men and Fantastic Four. I'll never be able to see that, unfortunately. Dark Phoenix, I guess they could tell Apocalypse. They would all reboot that, so that wouldn't be a problem. But, in a way, I kind of want to see Wolverine in MCU, see how he could, in the X-Men, and seeing Storm and T'Challa and Fantastic Four. But if they don't get it, I'm okay, because I think Comcast, if they get it, will create their own universe. This is the Fantastic Four, X-Men, Deadpool universe. And they have plenty of stories to tell from. Reboot the X-Men finally for one more time and call it the Uncanny X-Men. Deadpool and X-Force, go into Excalibur, go into Alpha Flight, all those things. And then you got Fantastic Four. You can tell a bunch of cosmic stories. There's your cosmic-based villains. Villains out there that Fantastic Four can fight the Skrulls, the Super Skrull. And I believe they would have the rights to share Namor like Marvel, because Namor appeared, was in Fantastic Four quite a bit. So was Black Panther, though, by the way. Black Panther was part of Fantastic Four as far as their story arc and many of their comics, but Marvel has Black Panther. But you definitely could create your own universe and do a good job if they get it. So I'm not upset if they do keep it. It'd be nice to have Marvel have everything under his tent, but it don't happen. But either way, that's fine. So that would be interesting to see how that I know Disney wants to maybe make a counter offer. We'll see what happens, but this may be done. They came in strong, and they might say, hey, you know what? We're going to win this. And who knows? Maybe Disney just says, hey, how much do you want for Fantastic Four? You can have the X-Men. Because X-Men, necessarily would be hard to explain how mutants have been around and nobody knows about them in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I'm sure they would explain through the reality gem, changing reality. But Fantastic Four is an easier sell into the Marvel Universe, so you can say the Fantastic Four was there or in the negative zone or haven't became the Fantastic Four yet. You could do that a little bit easier if they just said, hey, we'll just buy the Fantastic Four, which Marvel wants. That's what Marvel really wants there. Marvel does. Disney wants the whole library for their streaming service, no doubt, which is coming out soon and should be interesting. Along with DC streaming for service, I'm excited to see Titans, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol. Very excited to see all these shows, and I'm hoping for better quality than the CW shows with a little higher budget, but really good shows. So I'm excited. I'm hoping DC, which has always done well on the TV side. I like all their TV shows, although I will say this. And I don't know, raise your hand if you hear me. I understand the CW show. They're fun. They're silly. I get to see characters I never thought I'd see. But Supergirl is losing me. This whole Rain thing. And then on top of that, okay, Jim Olsen, your guardian. Also, you have training. You're fighting the Kryptonians, and it's her sister with this little Kryptonian gun, and she's flipping around. They were fighting Kryptonians, 3 Kryptonians, the last episode, and somehow they were holding their own against them. These are people with the same powers as Superman and Supergirl, and yet they're holding their own. Alex is the Supergirl sister. She's able to defend herself and gets knocked back, and no broken arm, no broken wrist. Oh, I'm fine. I'm getting ready to step off Supergirl. I don't know if I'm even going to watch another episode of season finale in the next couple weeks, but I'm done with Supergirl. Legend Tomorrow I still watch. Arrow looks interesting still in Flash, but Supergirl losing me, and Black Lightning I love. So I'm hoping to see Static Shock soon come into that universe. But Supergirl, I'm sorry, the writing's terrible this year, and the whole Rain thing, which is fine, but they carried it on too far, and they just don't know what to do with it. They really don't. So that's the TV world, so to speak. Legion ended up. I always have a hard time understanding everything in Legion. I love the show, but it is a trippy show and sometimes hard to follow. But hey. It's a good show. I like seeing it, and it's interesting. It's a mind trip for sure, to say the least. In addition to that, I'm going to be Amazing Comic Con, Las Vegas Comic Con. I don't know if you're going to be there, if you're local, if you're going to be there. I will be at Amazing Comic Con. I know some of the Collider people are going to be there. Collider Heroes is going to have a live panel there. I'm interested, excited about that. Definitely going to check that out. John Schnepp, Robert Bryan Burnett might be here. As well, so we'll see what happens. Coy may be showing up, and I will definitely love to be in the panel. I'm going to be doing some cosplaying myself. I'm going to be Black Mask from the Batman universe, so that should be fun. But if you out there, say hello to me, LR Reactor. I'll have the steampunk glasses on. If I'm not wearing my my Black mask, it will be interesting. But I should look forward to having a great time at Amazing Comic Con. That's June 29th here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. So that should be fun. Well, anyway, leave me your comments. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, what your thoughts are about the things we said about DC. Will they ever truly be big again or ever rise to where they should be? CW shows, Marvel's dominance continue to go. Wonder Woman theory, so to speak, and the Pixar Aquaman.